When I started my law firm, the first month I only got 60 pounds. From the moment I earn even €1 on my own,
Yes.
it means I can multiply that.
OpenAI is currently losing money. By 2027, 2028, it won't have enough money.
So I was appearing in court for big cases, big clients like Sony, Sharp.
Just some gray hair.
I just lost my hair. I don't know if we'll ever reach that stage of teleporting.
I read the message and I got kicked. And I thought, I have to go and pick up just now. And he asked me that I believe in telepathy.
By Elon Musk, invested 38 million in the company and then he left. But he did it as a non-profitable organization.
Hence the name, OpenAI.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Financial Frontiers podcast. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon to get notified when we upload new content. Follow us on Spotify and give us a 5-star rating. It will help the channel, which I hope you love so much. Here we are, another episode of the Financial Frontiers podcast. My guest today is an old friend, one of the first people I met when I moved to Cyprus, and I'm very happy and honored to have you here, Yiannos Georgiades, owner of Yiannos Georgiades and Associates LLC, a lawyer by profession, and also co-founder of Kinisis Ventures, who
Yes.
I've had your co-founder here as a guest before, Andreas
Panagi,
Panagi. Looking forward to a conversation over here. I know you're very much involved around the tech side of things, and it's going to be an interesting conversation on how the tech and law, the legal profession merge with your expertise. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Yiannos, thank you for your time.
Dinos, thank you for having me here. It's so nice to see you after all these years we met the first time. Of course, you haven't changed.
Just some gray hair.
I just lost my hair, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we met at the gym.
Yes.
And so I think it's an important part just on a personal side. If you look after your health, you maintain yourself, and you're looking good.
Yes, we still keep fit.
You still keep fit?
Going. Actually, I was looking back and I realized that since I joined the gym at that time we met, 2003, I carry on until today, non-stop. And time passed so quickly, and I'm so glad that
it's so important, looking after yourself. It's important, obviously, personally, but also business. If you're not healthy, then you can't operate your business.
Exactly.
If you look at it from a professional standpoint, you have to do it.
Yes, no, absolutely correct. That's it. I always advise everyone to keep exercising and be healthy.
And then after all that's said and done, there's this a book called Outlive from Peter Attia. He speaks about the marginal decade.
Okay.
This marginal decade is basically, what is it that you'd like to do in your life? How do you plan and envision your life in the last 10 years that you live? And if you consider that the time that you need to invest to achieve even basic things like, let's say, your marginal decade, you see yourself based on your DNA or whatever it is that you believe you can live in the 90s.
Yes.
And if you want to walk your dog in the 90s, if you're able to walk your dog today, you take it for granted because, getting pulled by a golden retriever, for example, is easy for you today. But if you want to still be able to do that, let's say you're a dog lover in your 90s, you're going to need to have that stamina, the muscle. And that comes, from investing time from now so that you're able to live into that marginal decade and do whatever it is that you want. And just, walking the dog is an example. There's many things like, and so that's it. We invest our time from now.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And now you reminded me how important is visualizing things. And I have done that even before I read any books about positive attitude and self-development. back when I was at the age of 19, maybe at the army, and there was no mobiles, nothing, no technology, hardly any technology. And I was, remember I was spending time being a guard or doing patrol as a sergeant, and I had so much time. And I started thinking, because of the fear sometimes we have when we are about to leave from our parents and be independent.
Yes.
And we're always wondering, is it possible for me to be independent and support myself and then support family? And then is it possible for me to graduate and do what I want to do? So at that time I wanted to become a lawyer. So I remember, I don't know what inspired me to do that, but I was visualizing myself in the future being already a lawyer with family and a lot of kids, having my own law firm, and being successful and happy and jolly. And this picture was growing and growing, and then I liked this idea, and I was doing it regularly for the time to pass. And funny enough, here I am. I achieved more than I was visualizing, in my opinion. I did have amazing family, 4 kids, and now grandkids. And at the same time managed to be professional and build my own law firm and be co-founder of Kinisis Ventures. And also at the same time having a lot of other activities on the side, like in being a founder of a big network of law firms called Globus. I was a president until this year. I'm president of the European Code of Arbitration for Commercial Disputes in Cyprus. But it's important, and it's good you mentioned it, that for everybody, everything is possible as long as we visualize how we will view ourselves in the future and not limit ourselves.
I love that. I love it. And if you don't have, I don't know what it is, and what that explanation is, or how it even works, how the world works, but having that vision, visualizing it and having that vision, life kind of guides you towards that direction.
Exactly.
Having a positive attitude always, and having this vision in your mind, and you just, sitting and imagining it. And there's so much, so much advice out there that say, write down your goals and visualize it and write it down. When you, infiltrate, when you live that vision, it will materialize some way or another,
Yeah.
And there is no real description like, this is exactly why it'll happen. It's just how life kind of pans out.
Yeah.
And so
it's a matter of believing it, basically, not just talking about it. If you have to, is deeper than actually superficial words. And that's why people go wrong sometimes, and they confirm their own disbeliefs, and then they come and say, no, this is not correct what you say. It cannot just think of something and happening. They're right, because of them, they don't have it deep inside them, this thought. That's why they don't believe it.
Right.
But from the moment you really believe, and I'm talking from experience, and that's why I don't have any doubt about this. From the moment you really believe and focus on your goals, and you don't allow to have any limitations, you realize that you will achieve, and it's a matter of time, what you're thinking about.
Yes.
From the moment you start doubting what you're thinking, then you will not do it. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. But
of course, and I've seen so many times, people they don't believe in their own potential, and the potential's there.
Yes.
It's got to start from you internally. If you don't believe in yourself, then nobody's going to come. Obviously your loved ones are going to try their best, and the people that actually want good from you, good of you. But it has to start from inside. You got to really believe, and don't limit yourself. Right? Think that whatever you think is impossible, try.
Yes.
At least try, because then you'll never know.
Exactly. You never lose anything. You only gain anyway in the process.
Calculated risks.
Yes.
Don't do anything that's dangerous. Don't do anything that's going to really set you back. But believe in yourself. Try, and then if it doesn't work out, doesn't mean you're a failure. It's a lesson learned. Every single person, I'm sure you, Yiannos, has learned lessons, right? It's not a failure. It's lessons that you learn to materialize what you envisioned, and even more, as you said.
Yes. Actually, I started from scratch, from nothing, really. Thank God I had very good parents that helped me and they supported me. But if you think about it, I never went to private schools. I went to the public school. I had to study in UK. People would think it's difficult without the A-levels and without being in a private school. And I was always resisting these ideas of people saying this is impossible, this is impossible. And also, even in my childhood, I had a kind of a health issue with my kidneys. I had to go to a hospital. Things were looking really dark. But then I overcome that. Instead of allowing this to put me down, it did the opposite. It gave me strength. And also, I learned to fight for my rights. And then I started thinking how to help other people.
Fight for their rights.
Yes. And then maybe that was the trigger for me wanting to be a lawyer. And together with the fact that my father was in the prosecutor, and I was influenced also by his profession maybe, but it was a combination of things, I think. And then from the moment I focused on becoming a lawyer, I managed to achieve this in UK, and then I did the bar course. I became barrister, which people were telling me was difficult to do also. And then I opened my own law firm. Again, they were telling me it's difficult because I was married very early, got married at the age of 22. I was a student. Then I had my first kid, who is now a lawyer at the office, Stephanie. And I have 4 kids, but 2 of them are already lawyers. And then the other one is studying now law. And one of them only, Sophie, did finance and accounting. And she has an excellent job in central London and specializing in tax. But all these things, if I didn't think of them as possible, how will ever be able to achieve this?
Of course.
And also I remember around the end of 2017, when my very good friend from nursery, Andreas Panagi, you had him here, my co-founder for Kinisis Ventures, I remember like yesterday, he called me one night. I was in the veranda having my beer. It was summertime. And then he started, he said to me, what do you think about doing a business accelerator in Cyprus? Because he said, I would like to do something for Cyprus. And also it's an excuse for us here, the expatriates, to be able to visit our country more regularly, but also be constructive, do something positive. And I said, yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, the ecosystem was getting mature at that stage. It was the right time, I think. And then that's why we started the Kinisis Ventures. It was just a small flame that started by discussing with Andreas consistently and focus. And then here we are now. We had the business accelerator. Then we did also investment company, private company. And then we moved to the regulated fund. And we have 10 companies in the first portfolio. Now there are 9. There's 2 of them joined together. So they're doing very well. Some of these companies, they came in your podcast, I think. I saw Mike Harlambus from 3Dium was here.
Yes.
And we are happy and proud to see that through our contribution, we were the first VC in Cyprus ever as private VC that came and established. And we are proud to see these companies, these talented Cypriot people, how well they're doing. And with our support, both with the money, but also with the guidance, how well they're doing and how much they respect our presence.
Of course. I mean, their experience is valuable because you're funding a lot of the young guns, let's call them.
Yes.
Inexperienced but smart. And that experience definitely helps. There's a value add there. And when I was speaking to Andreas Bana, he told me some of these companies, and yes, I have had them here. Don't remember if how many, but we'll go through them now. It's going to be an interesting conversation there. But just for when did you start the law firm? When did the Yiannos Georgiades and Associates LLC start?
Time flies quickly.
Time flies quick.
We started back in 92.
Oh,
It was actually,
okay.
yeah, I started 92, November 92. And I was in 4 wars without a single case. I was at that time working at Montanio's law firm, a very good firm, very nice people, and I learned a lot from them. And we still, until today, we have a very good relationship. And then I left. I had my kid, Stephanie, 6 months old, and everybody was telling me, "Oh my God, you're crazy. Are you gonna leave this kind of good job and do your own things?" I got an overdraft. Had a small office in Little Street, and I started from there. And believe it or not, I was getting, at that time, I had a very good salary for that time in the law firm. I was getting close to maybe equivalent 1,000 euros now. At that time was great. It was a lot.
Yes.
But then I remember when I started my own law firm, the first month I only got £60.
In fees?
Second month, £70, whole month.
Oh my goodness.
And then for 6 months, I was getting so low. But by the end of the year, I did double of what I was doing at the law firm.
Oh, okay.
That was amazing result.
Yes.
So it shows you that you should never give up, even if you have problems. I mean, we all have, being successful people, they have problems. People get it wrong. They think, oh my God, it's easy for you to say this, and it's easy for you to say that. But they never realize that most of the people, they do go through problems in order to achieve something, but they don't talk about it so much.
Of course. I mean, and it's not as if the problems go away. There's even more. The more you achieve and the more responsibilities you have, the more problems there are.
Yes.
It's just that, as you start maturing and dealing with the problems and figuring it out, successful people eat problems for breakfast and then they move on.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, when I opened the office, I remember when people were asking me, how are you doing? I was saying, excellent. And I meant it, because I thought from the moment I earn even €1, £1 on my own,
yes,
it means I can multiply that.
Yes.
So I was saying, okay, from the moment I got £60 in 1 month on my own, it was a good result.
Of course.
Yes. And then I carry on the momentum.
Sky's the limit.
Yes. And there is a history how it went. I was very lucky also, because I happened to, at that time, be, I was friendly always with people, very sociable. And then it paid off, because some of my friends, they had a company that their parents, they were doing trademarks and patents, and they needed a lawyer to collaborate with. So their children took over, and then they started giving me big cases. Like I represented Mattel Inc. for Barbie doll and Uno at that young age when I started. So I was appearing in court for big cases, big clients like Sony, Sharp, then Zara, and then that gave me a lot of boosting. And then I started getting referrals from some of my friends from UK who became solicitors and lawyers. They went to big law firms. So I kept in touch, although we didn't have the social media in this way, and we didn't have the mobiles and all that. Somehow I managed to keep in touch with most of my friends from different countries who became lawyers in different countries. And then that helped me a lot to grow and get good clients and proceed, and successes and coverage in the media also from what I was winning. And it was all done with love and passion. And I still today, and I love my job, I like it.
Good. It'll always pay off. If you're good to people, it comes around.
Yes.
And as long as you're good to people without an agenda,
exactly,
it's got to be it's got to be your character. That's not to say that people aren't successful who have a hidden agenda, but I think it's just a much free life, to really be authentic, that you actually help people, and then the world comes back. the world responds.
Yes, that's clear. That's clear. And now that is, I also find it very stimulating that I got involved in this Kinisis Ventures.
Yes.
And thanks to Andreas for thinking of this idea. Amazing guy. And I knew him since nursery. We're very good friends. We're like brothers. And we worked very well together. And he's working very hard for this, and he's very consistent. He brought that a US aroma, let's say, in Cyprus. And I'm very proud of that. And also it's nice we created a big family. I mean, all the founders of these companies, we are friends, we have meetings, they all know each other. And it helps not only these young, talented people, but also it helped, definitely helped our ecosystem in Cyprus. It's something that we should be focusing a lot of years back, like the Israel and the US doing this for so many years. But in Europe, it started 10 years ago, this. And Cyprus, I think, considering of a small island, and we don't have so many people, 1 million people, it seems like we have a lot of talented people. And now we started making awareness of our existence. We got so many pitches and decks from so many people, hundreds of decks.
Right. I'm a firm believer. There's a lot of talent over here in Cyprus. And having a venture, like Kinisis Ventures, that that effort is a good framework to bring that talent out, helping people in a structured, guided way, achieve great results.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the different companies that exist that you've already funded. You mentioned there were 10, now 9, because 2 merged. But I wanted to tap a little bit into the legal profession and how you've incorporated AI.
Yes.
And from 92, where in 92 the internet didn't exist.
Yes.
It existed, but it was definitely not available. And I'd love it if you can just paint us, the story, or show us, describe that story of how it started from 92, and then when email came available, 95, 96, whenever it was, and how, through the dot-com bubble,
yes,
how you adapted to that. Then as internet, obviously bandwidth speeds, so it's the web 1.0, web 2.0. Obviously you're involved with AI now. Fast forwarding a bit, I'm trying to remember what other advances in technology happened after, internet and, DSL. This is going to be fascinating.
I'm glad you brought up this, because actually it's a very good development. And personally, I experienced, and I'm one of the fortunate people of our generation that I happen to be, because I was always interested in technology. That's why I remember you also came to our office. At that time, most of the lawyers didn't even have any computers. Yes. So I remember, it's good you mentioned it. I'm the right person to actually take you through this, yes, and also from the legal point of view. Remember that when I opened my office, I had one Amstrad, 30 megabytes with floppy disk, which was not connected anywhere. But the other thing that is fascinating, and I remember, is that although it's unbelievable, if you look back, you think that it was not there. It was the internet, but it was through modem connection. So even in the university, I remember we were one of the first lawyers, maybe my generation, that they taught us how to use LexisNexis and Westlaw. It was LexisNexis basically at that time. I don't remember Westlaw. And they taught us at the university how to do search, and we're connecting in the library through modem.
Okay.
So I remember
in 1988, 1990.
80s, late 80s.
Okay.
Because I finished my degree in 89, and I did the bar course in 90. So I remember at the university, they taught us around 87, 88, they taught us how to connect, and we were connecting through modem in the library with LexisNexis doing search.
A local network.
Yeah, we were going to a data in the library of LexisNexis
Okay.
through connecting by modem, and then we were doing the same search.
This was in the UK.
Yeah, we were doing that. But then when I came to it was possible. A lot of translators were doing connection with modem and delivering work at that time. And when we came to Cyprus, I connected with modem, and I was connecting. I tried to get subscription with LexisNexis. I was experimenting. So I remember I was connecting with the modem to these libraries and trying to do legal research.
Oh. Remind me what LexisNexis is. I've heard that term.
Okay, LexisNexis is a database
Yes.
for lawyers, but it's a library that it has also different magazines, journals, case law, and you can do due diligence also there. You can search people, and it has a lot of modules now, but it's very well known among the legal profession.
I've heard it before. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah. In Cyprus, we have equivalent. It's called Silo, which is for Cyprus cases. But anyway, also I remember that time I was one of the first maybe law firms that I did structured cabling, and I had server. It was a Novell server with floppy disk, and I had 3-4 computers connected and a printer. But yeah, I mean, then since then, I remember also the fax came, and we were all surprised how you can get the paper from one country to the other. But we didn't have mobiles, and then mobiles came up.
95.
Yeah. So anyway, you see this development coming now today. I mean, there was the internet, of course, which facilitated things. People were worrying again, I remember. And also, as a lawyer, I focus again from that time to e-commerce, to all these peculiarities of that the internet brought regarding how the contract law and the tort and criminal and jurisdictions and all this private international law started coming into play and being customized around the internet. And people were worrying even then. And now we have the evolution. I think that's an evolution. I know people say Web 1, Web 2. I just say this is an evolution. It's an evolution of technology, and it's actually making more sophisticated and more easy for us to use these platforms to make our life easier and to be more efficient. And yes, that's why I have a consistency in focusing on technology. It's not something that it came up right now, and I remember I have to see how AI works and focus. And because I was always dealing with intellectual property rights and the media, and generally the internet and the e-commerce and all this, now you can see a different era where we will see again a lot of peculiarities and technical aspects that we need to know as lawyers if we want to assist and help clients who are using AI or they are developers of AI.
Right.
Because there are a lot of regulations now. AI Act is coming into play. There are certain problems that might arising. For example, in the intellectual property, who is the author? If there is no proof that whatever is created is by human, it cannot be registered. And then there is always a distinction that I explain to people in a plain way, where there is a lazy lawyer or the lazy person who only gives one prompt, do this for me, and that's it. With the one that is creative and is using prompt engineering and is creating something that is good and testing it, and then he's the author. And I use an example of the painter and the apprentice and the canvas, where one painter is just saying to the apprentice, draw a nice painting, and he does something beautiful, and then in this case the apprentice is the author. But the other case where the painter is saying, get that paint, get that brush, do this line, he visualizes already a painting, and he directs him and guides him all the way until he has a beautiful painting. In this case, I say the author is the painter, who is actually the human, and the apprentice is the AI.
Yeah.
So this is one thing that we need to think about, how one can create something innovative and then being able to register it. And for me, not only as a lawyer, but also as an investor through KV, we need to see that, because we cannot have, the investment committee, when we have people coming now to pitch, most of them, they rely on AI. And then they do medical diagnostics, digital twins. So we need to know, is that thing you created something that you can copyright? Or is it infringing somebody else's copyright? Plus, did you use all these data sets you received? Did you have a license to get them? Because some people, even a huge company, Anthropic, they ended up in trouble because they got scraped a lot of books, and they did to train their model, and then they sued them, and they ended up in a settlement out of court, paying 1.5 billion. Jeez. Because they paid $3,000 for each author, 500,000 authors. Can imagine what it means. So, and even other Clearview, when they scraped a lot of photos and to do a facial recognition program, for example, they also were taken to court. So we need to be aware of the rights. Anybody who is deploying or making anything that is AI has to be careful, because the executive directors of the companies are liable nowadays. And then it's touching data protection laws. Professional negligence. For example, if you create a product that it gives a wrong diagnosis in a medical diagnostic program, whose fault is it? I'm always saying, when people say AI will replace lawyers, I say that it will not replace AI lawyers. I say that lawyers who are aware of AI will replace other lawyers. Plus, more work will be created because of what I described earlier.
100%.
And even with the open, you are a technical person, some people, they use open source, GPL, but there are rules. If you use open source, you are obliged to disclose your code. Right. So in that case, how can you protect your rights?
Right.
So you need to be aware of all this. You need to be aware of the regulations, of the laws.
Of course.
So who is going to help you in this? You need a lawyer.
Of course.
And of course you can say I have AI, but no, because you are not a lawyer, and AI you're running the risk. If it gives you something that you cannot confirm that is correct, you're running the risk of being in trouble again. So why not concentrating on your work and leave a lawyer who can use AI, yes, in transparent way,
yes,
to then create your legal opinion, or ask his junior to use AI, like he's using LexisNexis in the past, to bring you something. Then you test it again, and then you deliver the professional work after confirming as a professional with experience over all these years that this is correct.
Right. So interesting, that conversation. And as you were describing this, what came to my mind is, AI can be used as a tool for plagiarism.
Yes.
Right? And there's a fine line between using AI for plagiarism, as a tool for plagiarism, or you use it as a tool to help fuel your creative. So you might be somebody that's creative, you've got a certain vision or whatever, you want to create something. And you brought it, the example, on how a junior can use AI, or how lawyers can use AI. It's, if you're creating something and all that you're using AI for is as a tool to help you towards your creative goal, is very different to if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't have the creative ability and you're using AI for plagiarism, then that's not cool. Yeah.
Imagine me, for example, trying to do code and use AI to create for me something that with algorithms and everything, but I don't have a clue about these technical things. Wouldn't it be better to trust somebody? But even if the professional does use AI to create it, I don't think it's wrong. It's on the opposite. It's good. But what is wrong is not to trust AI, be lazy, and just give a prompt and say, create for me a nice, beautiful painting with a boat.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is not creation.
Yes. Of course. No, but if you, every profession can bring an example. And I have a very recent example. So as you know, I'm IT background.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as everyone, when you start off something, your career path grows. As you grow, you change. My role has changed. I'm not so much on the technical anymore. It's been a while since I, you know, configured a router or a modem or a firewall, or, you know, open up the trading platforms and configure the platforms. I've got teams that do this for me now. And humans, we tend to, you know, if you don't keep practicing and keep on top of it, you will forget on the technical. And a friend of mine had an issue in the office that I was at before, where we configured, I had done it. I configured the MikroTik and the switches and the firewalls and whatever, and they changed the internet connection and everything was down.
Okay.
So I went to go help them. But I told him, listen, I'm a bit rusty because I haven't done this in a while.
Yes.
So I said, I'm going to use ChatGPT to help me. Where before I would have done, you know, Google search, find, you know, forums and things to figure out something.
Take you ages.
Yeah, and you got to have some foundational knowledge to be able to understand what you're reading, because you might read something that will completely break, you know, if you don't have the knowledge, you might see some advice over there that's not relevant to you. And that's exactly what happened. So I went with my, you know, rusty old knowledge, but I used ChatGPT. I did the job. So fascinating for me, because back then it's not as if I configure MikroTiks all day long. I just know, you know, how to configure a router generally and firewalls and whatever it is. And back then I did it. I managed to do it, but you know, with a lot more painful process, let's say, of reading different, you know, help forums and whatever it is. This time I just used ChatGPT, and it gave me points, and I was following the steps as it told me. But there were some points where I'm like, no, that's a bit dangerous. I don't want to do that, because, you know, you remember, obviously. No, and then you explain to it, listen, GPT, that's wrong, because this is going to do that and that. And then he goes, oh, you're absolutely right. No, do this way.
Exactly.
And if you don't have that knowledge, then if somebody who doesn't have the experience and just follows, you know, blindly what it recommends, you could completely break it, and now you have to go and find a professional.
Yeah.
And this is one example in the legal profession. If you don't embrace it and understand it, you will get left behind. But there is a foundational knowledge that you have to learn. And
for the legal profession, Dino, it's also is dual. I mean, it's two things for the lawyers. First of all, is how the lawyers utilizing the existence of AI as a platform to make their life easier in creating, drafting their legal opinion, doing their legal research, doing the different procedural things in court, and doing a cross-examination, preparation, and all these things. And on the other hand, is the actual substantive law, is the substance of knowing the law relating to AI. So the lawyers, they need to know both, in my opinion. They need to be ahead of time and always trying to be alert of how they can use AI to help them in their work, but also to be aware of the regulations and the law, AI Act, and how liability can be imposed. So to know the new trends and how they can advise their clients. So they have to be in both educated, in my opinion. And also there is a possibility that nowadays we will be saying you're negligent because you didn't use AI. Because if you, with AI, you can actually manage to do something more efficiently, like in the area of law. When you do like discovery of documents and it has a volume of documents, there are now AI tools that you can categorize them and do it more efficiently and don't miss out any documents. So imagine now coming to a point where you could do that, but you didn't, and you did it manually, and then you missed out things, then your client lost a case because of you.
That's negligence.
Yes, it's another dimension.
Right, 100%.
Yes,
I agree with that. Can you Can you tell us about the AI Act as much as you have?
Yes, the AI Act is actually is supposed to be enforced, but is implementing gradually. In Article 5, which is not allowing social scoring, some unethical things, is in place since February last year.
Social scoring?
Yes, when you're trying to use AI to give scores to people according to their sex and this, which is unethical and discriminating and all that. So these are a category of things that is outlined in Article 5 of the AI Act, which are enforced. But manipulation, to do manipulation, human manipulation. So there is different kind of categories there. But not the whole act is being implemented yet. There is aimed to be implemented in 2027 because the European Union recently they did a paper and they postponed the full implementation, acknowledging the perhaps the problems that they might be arising of the adaptation, because they don't want to kill on one hand the technology and the advancement of technology, but they want to have a balance between having secure security and regulation. But I think that year 2026 is a year of adaptation, and maybe it's correct what they did. And different countries are approaching the regulation in different ways. For example, UAE and Singapore, they're trying to be more flexible because they want to create a hub and attract people to feel more comfortable to be in their country. They do have guidelines and trying to have ethics, but they're more soft. US has so many different laws, which are actually, they don't have a unified one, but recently they're trying to do a unified one, which is a good. And this is the beauty of it for lawyers also, but also it's a challenge for a lot of people because by nature, AI and also all the platforms, they are distributed globally. So one should be aware of the different regulations in different countries, how it is in Europe, what is in US, what is in, the main markets. So this is a challenge for everybody. And that's why it's a challenge, but it gives an opportunity for lawyers globally to actually focus and specialize on this and be aware of the laws of globally.
Of course.
Because it's an area that if you want to be efficient and advise properly your client, even if it's situated in Cyprus or US, you need to know what is happening in the other countries. And this is a very important aspect, and this is a challenge, but also it's something that young lawyers should be aware of, and students, and trying to specialize themselves, not just on one specific jurisdiction, but AI, full stop, just AI, what applies. And this is what I'm trying to do, and trying to also do myself, because I don't, you cannot function if you are not aware of what is happening elsewhere. So AI in Europe, they do a lot of trying to regulate it. They're trying to be strict, yes, but still they give the space to the industry to adapt.
Is the AI Act a European Union
yes.
Law? Okay.
Yes, it is, and it's also applicable to all European countries, including Cyprus.
Okay.
And people should be aware of it because a lot of fines are imposed if you are in breach of the law. There are even 30 million fines. There is a huge fines.
Okay.
And it's not a joke.
Yeah.
So, and also it's imposing obligations on key people in the company.
Yes.
Where if you are an AI developer, a technology development company, or if you do buy a product and you use it, then you might be liable. So you must do a due diligence. If you're an investor and you're investing in this, you must do due diligence. So you're not in trouble when you invest in companies that they might not be following the rules.
So explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. What would be illegal in the AI Act? So, for example, like if we bring GDPR, That's something easy to understand. GDPR means don't use people's personal data without their consent,
Yes.
and don't process that information that hasn't been provided willingly. Okay, it's obviously a lot more deep than that, right? Yeah. But on the outside, on the surface, and if you had to give it a heading, that's easy to understand. The AI Act, what is not permitted around AI?
Okay, for example, what I said earlier, is not allowed to be used for
manipulation,
for unethical things.
Unethical things. Okay.
At the same time, there are certain risky, like financial, like maybe your field, banking, and some other medical, who are supposed to be high risk areas. In that case, there's an extra obligation on people to be careful of what they're creating, so to avoid any damage which might be caused by faulty AI platform. And then there will be other issues of disclosure and transparency. So you have watermarks.
Right.
Or I use AI here, I didn't use AI here.
Right, okay.
The Chinese are doing that already.
Okay.
So there are obligations on of the key people in the company to follow and do due diligence on this. And there are different interesting, fascinating matters here. Also, as a technical person, you understand maybe better than even myself where I'm reading this. As I wrote an article from the legal perspective, when I saw an article about from a university, some engineers, they were actually discussing the possibility of the AI and a model created to cheat its own creator. So it's behaving in a way that is supposedly they tested it. It looks like it's behaving well, but is pretending is behaving well. And then later on, when you don't supervise it, it starts leaking information. You can and doing things that are wrong.
Okay.
So it's not according to the compliance requirements. And then you might be in trouble. So I wrote an article about this because I was inspired by this saying this could impose liability on people.
Right.
If we know that this can happen, and if we know there is a way, because these people they're saying there is a way to test it by doing A and B and C through another program, then wouldn't be a problem if a company, knowingly that this could happen, didn't use the right tool to double confirm that is not behaving in a dodgy way their own model.
Right.
You see, we're going very deep, and then a lawyer. That's why a lawyer should also be aware of the basic technical aspects in order to be able to advise their clients. Because if you don't understand at all the technical issues, it will be difficult to identify problems in order to advise them what to put in their agreements in order to avoid liability.
Right. Right.
Then the other thing is the professional negligence, because if a lawyer is doing something by relying on AI and not being careful, he can be liable towards his client, but also he can be subject to disciplinary proceedings or fines, something we have seen already, because lawyers have used case law, which the AI gave them in court, and they were embarrassed, but not only embarrassed, they fined them. In the US and UK, there is already a case law on this.
Okay.
Therefore, even medical practitioners, if they're using a model and they're not careful and they rely on the diagnosis of scanning when they're scanning, for example, they do exist already. And they're not careful, they might be liable also.
Right.
So it's a copyright, intellectual property, it's a privacy when you're scraping photos, when you do things with infringing other people's copyright, privacy laws, data protection, cyber security will be an issue if you're not careful and you don't protect your system. Right. So there are a lot of aspects, and then it's the issues relating to which law is applicable, which jurisdiction, which courts are competent for trying this matter. There's so many things that we need to know.
So it sounds like the AI Act is basically defining obvious things that are not allowed, like that are illegal, and how AI can be used to bypass it, right?
Regulating. Trying to regulate and make people careful, to avoid unethical problems, to avoid damage, and to be transparent.
Right.
In a similar way, a lot of other countries trying to do the same. It's not just Europe.
Yes. Well, yeah. So, as I said, the AI Act is European-based, but they're obviously regulating a technology that is that's not born in Europe, right? If we think of AI, and what we know of AI as it is today, if you ask somebody, what is AI? Well, let's say ChatGPT, obviously, comes straight away as Grok, whatever it is. Those are all US-based, and then obviously China. And now we have the European Union regulating these other technologies. I think it's important to look at what are these other countries doing, to regulate the technology and incorporate something that doesn't stagnate innovation. That's the thing, right? Too much regulation stagnates technology and advancing in technology. You don't want to go to the other extreme.
Yes, I agree with you. And this is actually maybe the idea where would push European Union to postpone the full implementation of AI until 2027.
Yeah. It makes sense to gradually do it. Yes,
there should be a balance. But also there's another aspect of the technology and AI that because we need a lot of energy to do this, and so it's another chapter about the data centers and the energy they're using, and now each country is trying to attract people. Even Cyprus, UAE are doing a great job in attracting data centers, but then we have another discussion there of how we use renewable energy to avoid the problem, because needed so much energy and consumption in order to do all these things.
Somewhere I read, I don't know how true this is, but I saw, I can't remember if it was an article or that OpenAI is currently losing money. And if it keeps at this pace, by 2027, 2028, it will not have enough money. It won't have enough money. It needs to keep finding investment until it gets to the point where it is actually profitable. And then obviously that comes at a point where the hardware is able to, the energy, it's energy consumption, that it produces a lot of energy and consumes, and that's what costs. Until that gets improved, which only happens when you throw money at it and you start improving it.
But Dino, this is good you mentioned OpenAI. I don't know whether it's losing money or not. But funny enough, I don't know whether you knew that it was supposed to be non-profitable.
Yes.
And there's a huge reason, actually, by coincidence. Now it reminded me there is a huge claim by Elon Musk against OpenAI, its founders, and Microsoft, because he invested 38 million in the company, and then he left. But he did it as a non-profitable organization.
Hence the name, OpenAI. Open source.
Yes. So basically, he brought a claim, the biggest claim ever, 135 billion claim against them. It was a few days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a long time ago. And then because he's saying that I invested here for the good of the community, all this money, and you promise that it will stay non-profitable. Now you're having a 500 billion valuation of a business, whereas this is like fraud. It's not proper. So he's suing them. He's suing them for this. I don't know where this will end, but it's interesting to see that they're trying to strike out his claim through summary procedure, and they didn't succeed. So the judge we have a judgment. The judge says a prima facie, like initial reaction, is that he has a base, he has a cause of action, because he had evidence that correspondence with the founders, that they were telling him, promising him that yes, he gave them the option to become profitable or not profitable.
Right.
And they said, no, we will stick to profitable, not profitable. And then they started using a company for profit.
Profit, yeah. And I think they're going to get listed, right?
I don't know about that, but I know about this case, which was fascinating. It's the biggest ever case I've seen with this 134 billion. But related to AI again, and you see even the OpenAI and the Microsoft and the founders now, they came across this huge dispute.
It's very interesting how that pans out. We'll see how that pans out. But as in any technology, for us, this has changed everyone's lives. And if you look at like Tesla, right? In the very beginning, one of the first electric vehicles, those initial Teslas were so expensive because it was not in high demand, not high supply. And as in any technology, you need it to be liquid so that you're able to reduce the costs to it. And this looks like what is happening now with OpenAI. Mobile phones were so much more expensive, when they first came out. It's when the human population started wanting it and throwing money at it, where businesses were able to get more efficient on the cost. And it looks like we're at that phase where the cost isn't so efficient right now. The energy that it needs is just so expensive that it's going to be interesting how in the next 3, 4, 5 years how that challenge is solved, and then from there on we just quantum computing is also going to change this. So the technology keeps changing so fast.
And also blockchain also. People don't speak a lot about blockchain, but I mean blockchain at the end of the day is something that it could be probably helping the rest of the whatever developments for authentication.
Yes.
And make it more safe maybe. But technologies is I cannot predict how far we will go on this. Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever reach that stage of teleporting, for example.
Who knows? Who knows? But now, I'll tell you something that I believe this. I really believe this. There's been too many examples that have happened for it to be a coincidence, right? And this is what I really believe. I believe that humans have the ability to telepathy. I believe it.
Okay.
For connecting with each other and being able to communicate in a different way other than hand gestures and speech. I believe it. Because yesterday I was sitting on my phone with my my brothers, my brother and brother-in-law and two brother-in-laws and my brother. And we were speaking about other things, like completely other irrelevant things. And then I just recently got a maid. She sent me a message to go and pick her up. And I picked it up, the message, and I read it. And then my brother asks me, how's your, I'm not going to say her name, but how's your cleaning lady? I'm like, what? And then my other brother-in-law says, I was also thinking about her now. And I told him, let me just explain to you what just happened. We were not speaking, the topics we were talking about completely irrelevant. Yeah. This message came, I read it, not out loud, unless I did it out loud subconsciously, but I did it. I read the message and I go, okay. And I thought, I have to go and pick up just now. And he asked me, I believe in telepathy.
Yeah, I believe.
And this is one example. It has happened many times.
Yeah, I believe in telepathy. And I remember some years back, I read this experiment that it was done with monkeys. I don't remember the islands, but there were 2 islands, about 500 miles apart. And in one island, there was a kind of specific kind of a monkey from a specific family. And they taught them how to eat banana on a different way than they usually eat, the monkeys. Like they're more like a human to do it like this, like this, like this. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but that was the idea. And then the monkeys that they were of the similar family in the other island, 500 miles away, without teaching them, they started eating the same way the banana. And there was a scientific experiment they did to show that the strength of telepathy within the animals, because they don't have they don't speak. And but to explain that in humans this is not used so much. That's why it's not so strong, but it is there, and I believe that. I believe that also from the point of view of us as humans, how we get inspired, and we creating the aeroplane, we creating all these technical things, and we develop. It means that we have a kind of a communication and telepathy. With this, we're going to a different level, but I do agree with you.
Yes, I believe it. And maybe, all these things that we're talking about, technology and how it's helped the human race and how we've advanced in whatever it is. But at the same time, as in anything, there's pros and cons. And I do have a strong opinion about this as well, this information overload, where there's just so many notifications and different platforms just blasting messages and the scrolling. And it's just too much noise. And I think if we had to kind of take all this away and put everybody in, avatar mode, like connect to the mother and figure out, how do we tap into, if it's possible, right?
Yes.
If we're able to, how do you tap into that? Maybe all this distraction is stopping us. Maybe not, I don't know. But very interesting. I do have a lot of confidence in the ability of humans, even, naturally as we are. But, and
I think I'm also a person who I believe that everything happens for a purpose. And sometimes we should go with the flow and be, of course, careful and not allowing ourselves to be addicted in certain kind of behaviors, because it's a matter of addiction also. I mean, the scrolling, and then the kids, when you see the young kids on the screen and they don't have any communication, they're losing the communication. There you will start thinking that this is not right, On the other hand, it has the pros of some kids. I have a client recently, he's 19 years old, and he is making a lot of money every year through technology because he's writing code. And he's moving to Cyprus from Switzerland. And he basically, there was a story with him that when they were young, they had the teacher was not happy because of doing gaming in the class. And she said, okay, if you like gaming, just get this tablet and make gaming, create gaming.
Right.
And this inspired him and challenged him, and he was stubborn, and he did gaming. So he started making money because it was successful what he created. And then he started making money out of this from a very young age. And now he's 19 and he's making a fortune.
Wow.
He even pays money he makes. He pays money to his parents to have a good living. And he's only 19. So you see, there depends on how we use it, and whether we use it just for being sloppy and looking and scrolling, or we do use it for creating things. And
have you heard about this? I know in Australia they did it, and they're going to do it in the EU. Under 16s not allowed on social media platforms.
I didn't hear about that, but maybe it's a good idea if there is a regulation on that. I don't know whether we should go to the other extreme and be completely banning things, but for sure it should be regulated for kids, because it can damage, it can create damage instead of good.
I try so much with my children. I see, especially my daughter. So again, pros and cons, right? It depends what you consume. So I know my daughter, she scrolls on this, and there's a lot of, just useless content. And I tell her, just don't consume that, some lady eating sugar or whatever it is.
But the good thing, one of the good things about the AI that we don't think of it in this way, is that we as humans, we have limited capacity. We are acting like computers. So we read thousands of maybe books and thousands through our life, but we only remember a fraction of it.
Sure.
And we can also analyze it, and even in a much slower way than AI will do. AI has the advantage of remembering everything, 100%. So and is doing everything in a fast way, very fast. So when we need help, we need something to be done, and we have it as a platform which is an assistant, as an agent. It means that we benefit because we can make a better decision, because we utilize all this experience that is gathered in thousands and tens of thousands and millions of information that for a specific subject that AI is quickly processing it and giving a result. And in order to be more practical and understand the value of it, I was listening to one guy in a podcast the other day who managed to improve his company by utilizing the AI in a more complicated way. I asked him to find the best CEOs in the world and do their digital twin. And then he created a board of directors, he said, which had, for example, people like Richard Branson or some big names, were like digital twins, and they were in his board.
Wow.
And then he would sit in the board and say, guys, I have this idea. I want to make the times 10 my revenues, or times 20 or times 100. How will I achieve this? How do you think? And they were all giving their opinion, and then listening to them, and then implementing their ideas. And he managed to achieve his goals by following the decisions of the board of directors, which are basically AI. So you see the value
That's
of it
fascinating.
our mind. But who is doing this? Is a human mind. He thought of this and do it in this way. I didn't think of this and this way.
Correct. It's understanding how to use it as a tool.
Yes.
Keep saying it. Tell us about Kinisis Ventures, the companies that are there, that you founded, any new upcoming projects that's interesting that maybe we don't know about. I'd love to get an update on Kinisis Ventures.
Yes, of course. I mean, Kinisis Ventures, we did very well with the first compartment. We have 9 companies, as I said. There's diversity. There we have 3Dion, which is doing amazing. IPG invested on them also a year ago, and the value went very high. Mike is doing very well. His team, Mike Harlambus, amazing guy. And we have MBO, which is Konstantinos Loizou, MBO Diagnostics. They're doing a very good job also. They're doing very well. And they also got some funding from the government, from the Horizon, the Disrupt. We invested. We led an investment of 1 million, and so they qualified to get the 1.5. We have the Ascanio, who is doing mixed reality, and they're doing different projects. They got together with Fameline, a very good company. They did the Scania Maritime, which is basically a company that it will be investing in creating in the shipping industry the so-called remote assist or training of engineers through mixed reality. Also, they're trying to see whether they can apply this in the defense and other areas. And then we have Heroes Made, which is Maria Lavithi, an amazing girl who is in education for kids, self-development, and based on technology, of course.
Okay.
And also is doing very well because it's creating stories customized for kids, and also can be used for the parents and teachers to develop, to help their kids to develop, and by having even their own characters attached to the content. So it's content and technology, but mainly now she made it so is using a very good technology, and is doing also very well. We have Promed. That Promed is dealing with the production of collagen in the most efficient way. They have laboratories in Limassol, and also they're doing very well. With us, invested as Biz, is a very big company. They follow us in various projects. Also, they invested in our farm, and also Fameline, as I said earlier. And Promed is doing also very well. And we have Therefore, which I like. That is they did they have a application and hardware where it's used by a cyclist to get the ultimate position, both for speed and also for health.
Okay.
So there are a lot of cyclists that they like to cycling in professional way. I mean, they're not athletes, but they like to do it properly. So they have all the right gear, and they want to do this. So it's an amazing product in a niche market. And we have Aire Robot, which is Xidas Vagoras, and he did haptics. He's actually having a sensor. They started with a sensor that it could help the people without hearing to skip this and have a kind of a to identify with the sound, and overcome the problem. And then we thought that this would be also diverted towards gaming. And he's doing an excellent job also. Amazing engineer, Vagoras, an innovator. He even made through the use of glove. It's possible when you have you see, for example, a ball with virtually, and then you try to touch it, but you don't feel anything. But with the glove, you manage to get the feeling with touch.
Oh wow!
And he's doing also trying to do now basically to have a resistance, so even be able to get when you're getting a glass, to feel that you're holding the glass, not just touching it.
Wow.
Yes, and this is Aire Robot.
Okay.
And then we have another company, but we did a second compartment, by the way. We invested in 3 different companies. 2 of them are our existing companies, and one of them is a new one. It's about a bracelet that it has digitalized everything with your health, and it's a jewelry also.
Okay.
It's very good. But yeah, I don't know whether I left anybody out from our companies that is in the portfolio.
That's amazing.
Our first compartment.
Yeah.
Yes, but we do have quite very interesting guys, talented people who are doing very well. We have also hydrogen. Yes, hydrogen. Hydrogen is basically the idea of using hydrogen in ships, and in order to reduce emissions and consumption, which is actually saving money to the ship owners and helps them to meet up with the regulations to avoid any fines.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, more or less I describe everybody. If I forgive me if I I ask them to forgive me if I left anybody out, but I think I cover more or less everybody from our companies. The most important thing these guys are not just intelligent people; they are very humble and they respect also our involvement. Although we have a small share in each company, and this is idea of the VC anyway, they listen to us a lot, and they we don't impose anything on them, but they listen. Andreas is working very hard to help them develop. We open doors for them in the US because the idea started of having the right companies that we can invest and help them to scale up in big markets like US. And it's like because all my partners are in Andreas, they are US citizens,
Yes.
and they very successful entrepreneurs, being there for over 37 years. That's why we're focusing also on the US. And also US is a huge market and is ideal market for scaling up in this field of the innovation technology.
Yeah. And that opens up exit strategies.
Yes. So now is the focus of, especially for the first compartment, is the exit strategies, and this is what we're working on. And then we believe that soon we'll probably have some exit from some of our companies. And this is our aim. Our aim is okay, we are successful in the sense that the equity is growing and they're doing well. Most of the companies, in some of them more and some of them less, but they're all following a very good path, and we're proud of them. But we are aiming, and for us the success will be when we have the first buyout, which will be good also for our investors.
Sure.
Because we have provisions of distributing the profit to our investors. We attracted the attention of a lot of prominent people who have invested in our fund, and we are very proud of that and trusted us. And we have also new ones for the second compartment. And now we even joined we're members of the New York Angels, which is an excellent opportunity for our companies and people we help, since we open doors for them. And we already brought some of our companies, and they attract the attention on the New York Angels. And even they believe that is an advantage of, because Cyprus is a small country, the valuation of these companies are less than the equivalent of them in the US. So any investor will get a benefit by investing in the equivalent kind of a team for the similar product, but in lesser valuation. And the other good thing we like is that not only attracted investors from Cyprus to invest in our fund, but also other prominent people who are investing in our company as a fund. But at the same time, we open doors for the investors, because we are filtering so many projects coming along, and we see them, and some of them we either invest on them, some of them might not be the right people for investing on them ourselves as a fund, but it could be interesting for some of our investors to invest on them directly. And so we have the case where our investors already not only invested in our fund, but also invested directly in our companies.
Right.
And now we are in the process of closing the second round of the second compartment soon. And we never advertise. We don't advertise. It's just we like to have people that they like and understand how the VC operates. They like the innovation technology, and not only they invest for the money, but also because they want to contribute on the ecosystem and help also Cyprus, but also generally the innovation technology. And this is what we're focusing, and we're trying to be very conservative in our evaluations. We're always open for new ideas, and we keep close communication with the very different institutions. We never seek any help from the government or from anybody, but we keep them updated of what we're doing, and they like what we're doing. Plus, we have excellent relationship with the U.S. Embassy, because of the nature of what we're doing. It's like a bridge between the Cyprus ecosystem and the U.S. So we have an excellent relationship. We were from the very beginning in close communication with all the ambassadors, from Catherine to Judith and then Julie. We are happy that we have the blessing, and also we're having the very good kind of communication with the embassy. And we now and then we do some events. We bring together the investors and the founders and our team, either in Cyprus or in the US.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's great. And an exit will not only be a win for Kinisis Ventures itself and the direct, stakeholders, the founders, and also the investors, but I think also Cyprus as a whole.
Exactly.
I think it will be good for everyone. And I wish you all the success.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Yiannos, we've been here for about an hour, which is more or less how much I keep this. We've got to move on with our jobs. This is always great to have people like you here. I'm so glad that we had this conversation. Let's move on to some closing comments. Maybe if there's something that you wanted to mention over here that I didn't give you the opportunity in the form of a question.
No, I want to say that I enjoy a lot our discussion. We cover a lot of matters, and we all need to remember that in our life we need to always try to learn and never give up learning. We need to visualize. Young people and talented people in Cyprus, they need to believe in themselves and try, and don't listen to any negative comments. They need to listen, constructive criticism, but they always must visualize and be ready to follow their dreams. And we should never be always living in a way that we are scared and we worry about the new developments. We should embrace AI, we should embrace technology, and we should be alert about the problems and then trying to fix them, but not distance ourselves and isolate ourselves, because then we cannot function as people in the society, as people in our careers, and we cannot have a harmony in our life.
I love that message. I wish every single person in Cyprus can hear it.
I hope so.
Because it's amazing and it's positive.
Yes.
and it's true.
Especially with all the things we see happening around us now within our country because of the elections and everything. And it's healthy for people to have different opinions and express them, but it's a different thing to create divisions and not having unity, because we are a country that we need also to take care of. Focusing on the positive things on our development, on our investments, to bring investments in Cyprus, to create a good image for our country, because this is good for our people. And it's not good just to, with every excuse, to try to create aggravation and then create a bad image for our country also elsewhere in the world. Recently, I believe, were a lot of efforts done by a lot of people to create a good image. We have very good relationships with the US, with the West. We have the presidency in the European presidency. We saw a lot of developments and even interest from big organizations to come to our country. Despite certain kind of dark matters and scandals that are coming out, which is something that exists all over the world. We're doing very well, in my opinion, and we should keep the momentum and always think not about ourselves only, but for the whole country, the community, the people, and the good.
Agreed. Thank you, Yiannos, for your time. Let people know where they can find you, if you have maybe social media, LinkedIn or whatever it is.
I have everything.
Yeah, you have it all.
I have Yiannos. If you Google Yiannos Georgiades or just put GM Advocates, you'll find me everywhere, even in YouTube. I have a small channel there. I have some videos. You can find me everywhere in the social media, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere. It's easy to nowadays. Actually, it's so easy to find it. Even go around with a business card. I have a digital card, of course, because I'm always losing. Scan it. But nowadays it's so easy. Just put Yiannos Georgiades, and then everything is happening. You find me. You cannot. I'm not hiding anywhere.
Amazing. Thank you very much. This was great.
Thank you. It was nice to be with you.